He's got a bunch of them.
Right. That's good. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Tonight is Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. We're in the council chambers for the official city council meeting. At this time, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilman Cohen,
Here.
Councilman Leaders,
Here.
Councilman Fleetwood,
Here.
Councilman Munger,
Here.
Councilman Haygraf,
Here.
Councilwoman Azatea,
Here.
and Mayor McCoy.
Here. There being a quorum, I call this meeting to order. Mayor Pro Temp Munger, will you lead us in the invocation?
Lord, we just come before you and we ask your blessings over this time. Lord, may you grant us wisdom to handle the business at hand, and may you guide each and every one of us. We thank you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Because it's his special day and birthday, Councilman Haycraft, you listen to the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Happy birthday. This time, I look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes. Regularly scheduled council meeting, May 20th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, approval of payroll and claims, second half May 2025.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, nobody on the public comment section, so we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is me for recommendation of reappointments. This will be a first reading to the Mark Twain Home Board. First up, I have Frank Salter for an appointment for a term to expire in November of 2032. And then second is Christy Trevathan for an appointment to expire November of 2032. Again, that's a first reading, so no vote on that. Next item is recommendation of reappointments. This will be to the Library Board. Again, a first reading. Mr. Raymond Lee for an appointment to a term to expire June of 2028, and Ms. Laura Judlow for an appointment for a term to expire in June of 2028. And again, this is a first reading, so no roll call vote there. Next item, recommendation of appointments to the Library Board. Again, first reading, Mr. Harry Graves for an appointment for a term to expire June of 2028. And I think that is it for me. So next on the agenda is Ms. April Azte, Second Ward Council member for Festival Event Parking Vendor Oversight.
Yes. So Main Street is my ward, and between this last festival, Train on Main, and there was a car show downtown 2 weeks prior to that. The reason why I feel like it's important to address this now is because I kind of foresee the same problems potentially popping up in the future. So the car show, that morning about 8 a.m., I started getting messages from citizens wanting to know where the designated handicap parking was and wanting to know if it was in the same location as Folklife, because for Folklife, it's typically right alongside the lounge there, and they have signs out in the street with arrows pointing to where the designated handicap area is. I was not sure, and so I ended up reaching out to the city clerk. She said that I needed to go back, look at the agenda, see what they had put on their map as far as different areas, and then go from there. So after going back to the agenda, come to find out that not only did the car show have taped off the parking lot next to where the lounge is, but they had not even requested permission to use that parking lot. And I still had no idea where to tell or where the designated parking was. So in regards to that, I feel like every event or festival downtown, if we could include that in the packet that they are required to fill out so that we know wherever, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the same spot every year. Obviously, I feel like that would be a little bit easier, but as long as they have some type of designated area for handicap parking, I feel like that should be added as a requirement. Additionally, this last festival, I was approached by several vendors who were either promised and or paid for electric with their booths, and two sides of the street did not have electric. I know that the mayor and I met that morning to try to remedy the situation, and in trying to do this, I was unable to contact the two people that were over this festival, and so it was extremely frustrating to me. Mayor, would you like to, in regards to the electric, kind of touch base on that? Because I know that we both were trying to coordinate and figure that out with the Board of Public Works.
Sure, and I don't want to pass the buck. I'm going to defer to Andy a little bit because he kind of started, we kind of had I believe they reached out to you first, Andy, is that correct, about some electricity issues they had down there, and then we were able to get a hold of the board. I think there was...
Texted out and Jared responded right away.
I think there was some miscommunication maybe originally, but supposedly wound up getting it taken care of. And then they did have people down there later on that afternoon by the Clemens store. Remember that?
Are you looking at me?
You.
Oh, I was just like...
Yeah, no, sorry.
But would the council be on board with adding this to packets as far as what would be required of special events or festivals, just to kind of make it not necessarily easier on me when communicating to the citizens, but in my mind, you want to be able to encourage as many people as possible to come to these events and festivals, and having limited parking down there as it is. I mean, I would like to see that added to the packet.
And another issue I've heard a little bit too is, I think, and I'm not 100% sure which event it was, so I don't want to, come out and say that, but I think there's been some issues with trash as well.
That was my next thing is, I don't know if these events and festivals are required to have like a cleanup crew, but multiple, I'll use this last festival, not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but besides for that, there's been multiple festivals where the trash cans downtown are overflowing, trash left on the streets. Saturday night, I walked my dogs downtown, and the amount of grease, food, trash all over the streets that is attracting mice and bugs is, it's something that I would like to prevent. So I don't know if it's something as far as requiring them to have somebody throughout the day or at the end of the night or end of the festival clean that up, because even days after the festival ended, we're talking about trash cans still overflowing on the street. So that's something that I would like to see taken care of sooner than later, whether it's a cleanup crew that's going around throughout the day of the festivals or at the end of the night. There's no reason after a festival is over, like days after, that there's still all this downtown, because again, it's just attracting.
Do you know when the last time we updated the event permit application and all that stuff was?
Okay, so let me back up on a couple things because I have a couple comments to what's being said. So first of all, the electric is definitely already on the event packet. It's very clear, it's very concise, it's easy to read. The event organizer does have to contact the Board of Public Works for electric and water. They know that it's specifically on the event packet, and I think they normally do. This was a fluky oversight. Some was turned on and some wasn't. So hopefully that will fix itself and they won't have that issue. But again, normally they contact the board has it on, and that type of thing. The second thing that I wanted to comment on, let's see. So the handicap parking, I have no problem. I do what the council tells me. And so if the council directs me to put that on the event packet, I would be happy to put that they have to have reserved handicap parking. Trash is already on our event packet. They have to sign off that they have trash pickup, that they have somebody gathering the trash. My advice to the council and the mayor would be that perhaps somebody from my office, somebody from the street department, somebody goes and looks after the event. I keep track of that, and when these event organizers come for approval at the next time they want to have an event, I will remind you guys that they left trashed all over the streets and all of their little stickers in their parking places, and then you guys can not approve their events.
So I can add on that. Really, only Folklife Festival does trash, nobody else. So it's left on the street department. Now, here's the thing, and this is going to be up to the council. If you want to staff these events with street department employees, we're going to have to pay. You're going to have to at least have 2 people all day long on all these events.
So that's,
By the forms we have, is the city responsible for the trash, or are they responsible?
The events are.
organizer.
Then do we charge a deposit?
Why can't it also be added to the packet, like they have it, to have a designated like dumpster? Like I know that I kind of got into it with a couple of people that were just, these vendors were told by the event organizer to use my personal dumpster to fill it up. So on top of having a designated, I feel like they need to have designated dumpsters at either each end of the street or wherever the festival is, because it shouldn't get dumped onto the street department.
Well, and my thought too is like if we require a deposit that covers the cost of the city taking the trash,
Right.
you know, a lot of times that will encourage them to handle it as they're supposed to.
well, you could just put in the application, it's $25 an hour per every hour of the event that you can pay the city, or whatever number Andy gives you, or you can provide it on your own. If you're going to provide it on your own, you're going to put a deposit down or something that we're going to hold your feet to the fire. I'm not saying that
Yeah,
that
I
is,
feel like you guys are getting way off in the woods on charging fees and things like that. That's going to be an administrative nightmare. I think really it's on the packet. We can
Well,
specify that they have to mark where their dumpster and how their trash is going to be done. It does
Right.
require them to have trash. I can get more description on how they're going to handle the trash. And if they don't, again, you hold the event organizer responsible for not doing so.
Well, if
I-
what Andy says is correct, that the only one that's doing that is Folklife, we've got a lot of other festivals that takes place.
A lot.
And they'll be coming in real soon.
Would it be fair in adding to these packets that within 24 hours after the festival is over, like these trash like everything is cleaned up? There's no reason why weeks and weeks after these festivals are over that their numbered stickers are still on the street and there's trash cans. Would it be fair in adding that?
Yeah, again, you all direct
I'm
me.
I'm asking them.
I don't know if we need to make a
Whatever
motion or
you
not, but
tell me.
I'd love to, to get together and just try to critique or update that and then bring it before the council at the
Yeah,
next meeting.
I mean, I'd be happy to do so, bring something back to you guys to see if you guys are happy with that. I just want to go back to the trash again because, our street department does go pick up that trash, but when they have the trash cans full and then trash bags piled all around the
Yes.
trash can and everything, that is not being a responsible event organizer, and I really think
Or
we need to hold the event
respectful.
organizers responsible for these things. I will bring something back, depending on your directive, I can bring something back on handicap parking, that they have to have something noted on that. I can bring something back on trash pickup. on
Also,
that.
I think we ought to add in the packet designated, as April said, that handicap parking in that lot between the general store.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have
depending
to
on
be
where-
there. I
Yeah,
just know
that's a
that
good
Folklife
location,
does
though.
a very good job
Yeah,
of like
Hard to get
they.
in there, some events though. Some events that's
You have to
closed
come
all the way
in
to
through
the
the alley.
end. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
the
Yeah,
Folklife
right.
does a good job of putting those like signs out right at the beginning of the alley. So when somebody's pulling down, it's directing them to where the handicap parking is. So I'm not necessarily saying that's where it needs to be, but as long as they have, okay, at the end of Main and North Street down there in front of the old brewery, like this is going to be designated, like somewhere in their packet, they need to
Right.
have on there where it's going to be at. So when people are constantly messaging me, I know what to tell them, like where to go.
Well, rather than having it change each festival, though, we need to have, I think, a designated location each and every festival. So if anyone asks, oh yeah, anyone on here, oh yeah, that's going to be such and such location.
it's not a bad idea.
That's specifically up to you guys. We have a map. I think you all are used to the event packets. We have a map. We could put on there, designated that as handicap parking so that the event organizer signs off on it. Again, I'm at your pleasure. I will do whatever you guys direct me to do.
I think it's hard to make any decisions through there without actually having the packet in front of us.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's why I think we
I
should-
will
And I like-
also say too, in regards to what I said before, having limited parking downtown, like obviously any and all events or festivals to bring businesses to our town is so very important, but having limited parking, the car show, for example, I know those guys were so mad at me because I made them take down the tape because they didn't get permission for that. But I don't know why we are even blocking off a parking lot with limited parking downtown anyway. Why are we not utilizing more of the side streets for them?
So, I mean,
You know?
I think that's kind of an event by event basis, and that's where I would just be a little hesitant on saying like this is dedicated because, for example, like when you did your event in your lot, if you needed that whole lot for that one day event, and we already had it in the packet that that whole front row was designated handicap parking, and you're like, I just need it for one day. We're kind of setting ourselves up. So I still think it's important to be part of the packet, but maybe not necessarily say every event has to be here because as events
Right.
grow and expand, they may need a little overflow into some of those areas. So, but I guess my question to you is, you brought this up. Would you mind kind of spearheading this as far as this?
Yeah, I can work with
Whatever
the
I'm
city clerk.
Trying to say work with her. If any of the other councilmen have
absolutely.
anything they want to add, like.
And I feel like the
whether it's dumpsters
riverfront
or
isn't
trash.
utilized enough. I know that there are certain clubs that use it, but I mean, how much did we go for a budget on the riverfront? And I just feel like it's very underutilized and it's beautiful down there. So
But
I
I
feel
think-
like we need to try to remedy to this to where it works
I would
well
like
for
to see
everybody.
A list of things that you've recognized so that I may not recognize them. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
Review the festival event packet. If you kind of want
And
to
I'll
be
work
the
with the
go-to
city
on that.
clerk.
And I can add one more thing. Chief Naki is actively working on the emergency management side and the police side. He's got a lot of good ideas, ideas that he wants involved on this as well.
Yeah.
So,
Also, who is paying for the sheriff's deputies that are over these events and festivals?
would be the event organizer, yeah.
Each event.
So these events are privately paying the off-duty officers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as far as I know, there's no requirement to provide off-duty police officers at these events, unless it's part of their insurance policy or whatever.
I think the
Like, I mean,
question
I know,
is
like-
asked on the packet right now.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
We asked if they are.
We asked the last event that they requested, I remember, for, and then they said they had 2 off-duty
Security,
patrolling, I think it was.
Okay, so we good? I don't think we really need a motion on that. April's going to get some stuff together and bring it back to us.
Thank
Okay, thank you. Next up, Andy Dorian.
Yeah, the big item here tonight is the Grand Avenue bin wall engineering design. Klingner submitted a $23,000 engineering agreement to put together a plan for this project. As we have stated in the past, the bin wall at Grand Avenue, there by the grocery store, has been failing since the 80s. We have bid it out several times over the years prior to any one of us here. It's been not approved, the council has not approved those projects in the past, but we've had another bin fail, and it's just a matter of time. We can't kick this can down the road any longer. We did work with Klingers on a survey of all the area, make sure we actually own the property. There were some property disputes, and we do own what we need. So this would kick this project off and get a design plan.
Anybody have any questions for Andy over that? All right, if not, it'll be resolution number 2555-25 to follow. Next up, Andy, approval of appointments.
Second reading.
Yes. This is, yep, go ahead. This will be a second reading. Planning and Zoning Commission, Roger McGregor for an appointment for a term to expire June of 2029, and Michael Dobson for an appointment for a term to expire May of 2028.
Mayor, I would like to move a motion to table this. I've spoke to all of the council today, and I have kind of let them know that there's a couple other people that are interested in this, and to give everybody else a fair opportunity, would like to table this.
Okay. Do I hear a second to Councilwoman Azotee's motion?
I'll second it.
Can they be here for the next meeting?
I think that would be up to Andy, maybe,
I
because
don't know how you guys want to handle this. It's never been that
A couple of the council had asked me today in regards to the other people that are interested. So is this something that you would like to meet with them, or would you like them to come before council for council to?
I
I
have no
don't know,
idea.
so I'm like,
We've never done this before, so I have no idea how to handle this.
So the little, the little background that I have, there's 20 boards and commissions currently with the city. 16 of those are appointed by the mayor by charter, and 4 are appointed by the city manager. We've had some discussions with the city attorney, who's not here tonight, and Andy as well. And I think I've talked to most of you councilmen about, we're looking at possibly changing that charter in the future to all those appointments will be made by the mayor, as a lot of those boards and commissions are political type things, and to basically keep that out of the city manager's purview from day to day. You know, Andy made these appointment recommendations in a pretty tough time when he took over a new role, you know, at least for the time being. I don't really know how you want to move forward with it either. I think-
If we're looking at a charter change, that's by vote.
Yeah, as far as that down the road, changing how
that's-
that's
yeah, that's not
done,
gonna
we
be
still
anything
no,
anytime
we still
soon.
have to follow. We still have to solve this problem right now, because if we don't take care of this at either this meeting or the next meeting, then basically we won't have a quorum for.
Yeah, I
Planning
mean,
and
typically, what would happen is if somebody puts somebody forward, whether it be myself or Daryl, the council doesn't want that person, you would just vote it down.
Right.
I don't know how we would.
so do you want them to come before council next meeting, or would you rather them kind of submit something to council or to you personally, Andy, as far as,
We've already had a first reading on both of these people, so I don't know how we'd want to do that for all. Are we going to do that for every appointment now? Like, bring them for, I just don't know kind of what we're doing. So,
We just want to get an idea on, what kind of person's going to be, sitting on that table there, you know what I mean?
right, I know that, but we have 20 boards.
May I?
So we're going to bring this for every single person. Like, I just need guidance from you guys on how you would like to see nominations.
I mean, that is why we have 2 readings, though, too.
That's what I was just going to say. That is why it's on the agenda. You have literally 2 readings. The first one, it's sent, when the agenda is sent out to you guys have, that's when you have your opportunity to ask questions and determine whether you would support the candidate or not. I think you're getting a little messy, and I'll let Ethan look at the charter. If you bring candidates in front of the council, I think the safest way to move forward is to have anybody that is interested in the seat to submit the letter of interest, like we always have, to the mayor, the city manager. They can review. Then again, they can share that information with you guys, and you can support the nominee or not. Until you do a charter change, I think James would. I would recommend not changing the process, keep the process the same until a charter change would be voted on by the voters of the city. So maybe have the letters of interest submitted to the mayor, the city manager, then they can submit their recommendation to you again, and you can take the vote like you normally would, or approve the nomination.
Right. My question is, we didn't do that for any of the boards that we just read through.
Yeah.
So we didn't do it for the Mark Twain Home Board, the Library Board, or this board. Like, we have Park Board and Airport Board.
was there people interested in those other boards as well?
Tons of people interested. And in some boards we can't find any on. So, like, I don't know how to bring forward names.
I think the library has 5 or 6 names on their list. The park board too, yeah. So.
Is that the same case with P and Z? P and Z made that recommendation for these?
No.
No.
All the boards are just people want to sign up either. We were going to have the same issue with the Board of Public Works Board.
So I mean, Roger McGregor's been on the
I
board.
can't-
That's usually the way I understood most recommendations of boards is the way the library was, is they made that recommendation.
There's no board that does that.
Okay, okay,
The library is a policymaking board.
okay.
They're their own. We don't govern
Okay.
them. So that's why they do it. Everything else is just a volunteer. So,
And
like I said,
some
I'll do
boards,
whatever you want, but I don't know what that looks like. So it makes no difference to me.
Anyone at any time can be, submitted or put in for it
yeah, I've talked to several people.
on an opening.
Several people on different boards that have expressed interest in looking at what we have available. And I've talked to Melissa, and we are in the process of, it's kind of a mess when I inherited it, no fault of anybody else's, but there's a lot of boards that, some boards meet once a year, some boards meet twice a month, some boards meet every third Wednesday, some meet every Monday morning at 8 at the airport. I mean, they're just all over the place, and it's all volunteers, so some people have termed out and expired, and so it's a mess that we're trying to fix. But regardless of that bigger picture, I guess where we're at right now is with this P and Z appointments.
With a couple of questions related to that. Right now, is the city manager appointments by charter, or is that ordinance?
Charter.
By charter, okay. Then the second question, could we put out a list to the community saying, these are the commissions and boards we have, and these are the ones that have vacancies. If you are interested, please submit a letter of interest,
Absolutely.
and I think get it out, spread it out to the community as much as we possibly can.
I get that, but then what's the next step? That's my question.
Yeah.
You have 6 people submit. What do you guys want to do?
I like Melissa's response, gather those interested candidates, then send them out to all of us at the council, and then review it, and then at first reading, that's when we have the discussion. As with right now, we have a second reading. I think that'd be unfair to the person having a second reading. We already went through the first reading. We should
However-
probably proceed with this placement, but moving forward.
If we've got some good folks that want to serve, I think those names should be given up, so as other openings
Correct.
and boards come up.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the frustration with people that I've talked to, not just in regards to people interested in boards and commissions, was the council person that they had reached out to, not only about boards and commissions, but about issues in their ward, were left unanswered by this particular council person. And so I'm trying to do what is best for my constituents and relay the proper information and help in any way that I can. And I just want to be fair to anybody that's interested. Plus, I give mad props to anybody that wants to be involved with the city. And I would like to bridge that gap between the citizens and the council. So I'm just trying to table this until next meeting to give them the fair opportunity. I'm not saying that that's how it should be every single time moving forward. Now that we've had this discussion, I think now moving forward, we would know that they would, anybody interested in a certain board or commission, they would need to come to that first reading.
Correct. That's why.
But I just also want to give these individuals,
I still don't understand what that means.
Question that I have for it is, by
Come to the first
tabling
meeting
this,
for what?
Yeah.
but by tabling this now, are we going to change our position on these 3? That's where I'm kind of questioning now.
Well,
And we've already had the first reading.
Here's
Would
the
it
thing
affect
is,
quorum?
I've got 3 park board coming. Daryl's got a bunch coming. I don't know what to do the next step. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand what bringing them here for a first
The-
reading means.
the
Are you
current-
interviewing them, or like?
No, just sending out the candidates' information, to like if they fill out any type of resume or anything, why they feel they're qualified for
That the
that
mayor
board.
or the mayor or city manager is recommending.
Or
That is
why,
correct.
yeah.
So somebody interested in serving on a board within the city of Hannibal would submit a letter of interest to the mayor or the city manager, whichever respective board it is. They would review them, make a decision, and send you the recommendation for the nomination for you guys to approve.
But that's what we did.
That
Right.
is the current process.
That is exactly
That
what
is the
we
process,
do.
okay.
That's what we're,
That's my question.
so somebody
That is the
submits-
current
So
process.
typically, the reason that I think it was the mayor, and James might be able to, it's probably long before James's time too, which he's obviously not here tonight, is because the mayor represents the entire population of town. So that's why, as these people are interested, they come to the mayor looks at it. Because there are a lot of boards that are important. P&Z is a very important board, and you have to have people that have knowledge. And I'm not saying, I don't know who the other candidates are or whatever. And as far as like Mike Dobson, he's been on that board for 15 years. And we listened to James, and I don't have a dog in the fight, but you listen to James up here tell stories about 20 years ago when he was sitting up here. That board's important, and it's important to have that institutional knowledge. I'm not advocating for him. I'm just using that as an example. Like, the mayor has knowledge of these boards and commissions and the people that have been on them, but that doesn't mean that his pick or her pick is the only pick. And I mean,
I also think even with council that we need to get in new members, not just council, but boards and everything. I think it's good to get new, fresh ideas in there and not just be stagnant, having the same people on there that maybe might not make progress like new people would. I just want to be fair to everybody else, so that was...
Well, I think it's more important that people have the knowledge that they can always reach out to either the city manager or the mayor, say, I am interested in this board. And quite truthfully, probably don't get that many candidates, so the list is probably pretty small. But of course, it's always welcome that any new interested citizen would be stepping up to fill that position.
so again, what do you want to do?
I make a motion that we go ahead and...
We already had them.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to table. We're in discussion right now. Can continue to discuss, or we call for a vote?
Vote.
Any other discussion? There's a motion and a second on the table to table the second reading of Roger McGregor and Michael Dobson for Planning and Zoning Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed?
Nay.
No.
Okay. Roll call.
Councilmember Cohen,
No.
Councilmember Leaders.
Yeah.
Councilman Fleetwood.
No.
Councilman Munger.
No.
Councilman Haycraft.
No.
Councilwoman Azatea.
Yes.
So the motion does fail. Take the motion for
Okay. So 4-2, the motion to table does not pass. So now we are still back to the second reading of Roger McGregor and Michael Dobson for Planning and Zoning Commission. I would entertain a motion,
I'll make a motion.
second reading.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Councilman Cohen.
Yes.
Councilman Leaders.
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood.
Yes.
Councilman Munger.
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft.
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea.
No.
Okay. So second reading passes 5-1. But I will say this, very healthy discussion on that, a lot of good ideas. I know Melissa's already been working on it. I've been working with Mary and Andy on the boards and commissions. More to come on that. But in the meantime, until we get it on there, I have copies of all that. Melissa has copies of all that. Anybody out there that's interested, reach out to us. We can get you copies of the boards and commissions. Reach out to myself or Andy. if
Right,
you're
the goal
interested.
is for us to get this on the charter for November, to have this all back underneath the mayor. It's something that we're working with James on. City manager should not be making political appointments. If there's better ways to do it, please let me know. I just don't know what the steps were for this. I don't think the steps are we should interview every single candidate publicly. You would be here forever. But if there's better ways to do it, I'm all game. So,
And if we change the charter to where the mayor does it, that doesn't preclude us as a group from kind of coming up with some ground rules on what you guys would like to see with me. You know, maybe, hey, you get so many applications, you narrow it down to 2 or 3 and then send that out to us, and then we'll kind of look at it. And that's a down the road thing, but just keep that in mind, because we're willing to do whatever to fix the problem.
I think our current procedure is good. We're going to have to get the word out, try to get the word out to people more about what vacancies there are,
And
what boards and commissions there are, and then as people submit that, I think our current procedure there going forward then is good. You guys review them. When it comes down to the first reading, that's time for discussion.
And most of the time, if somebody's really interested in something, they're reaching out to you, councilman, they're in your ward or whatever. Hey, Bob, I'm interested in this. Can you let the mayor know? So then there's kind of that interaction as well.
Or the council bringing forward a recommendation. I mean, many, many
Right.
times the councilman,
Yeah.
oh, you have an opening on, you know, Employee Benefit Trust Board, which we do, thank you. But this would be a perfect person for him, and that recommendation is made to them, or something. I think the other thing, Mayor, is we got away from making sure to provide the letters of interest and kind of like the bios of the candidates to the council. Maybe we should, you know, maybe do a better job of getting that, getting bios and things back into the hands of the council so they do know kind of the history and things of the candidate that's being recommended. And that was way, way before Andy. That went downhill the last couple of years. And
We require, I mean, I do
Yes.
require a bio for anybody that's been on any of my boards, airport board, park board, and we review them, and then I will call them and discuss them. But I know coming up, we have multiple park board, airport board, BPW board. Those are all coming probably next meeting, so.
Well, and I think it's important that we don't discourage anybody from finding good talent and bringing that good talent out. So we don't want to create an inbred good old boy network
I agree.
where the same people get elected every time. So we do need new people, but we have to have a process to deal with that.
Yeah.
But the point being here too, we are in the middle of these nominations, 2 nominations going forward.
Right.
We aren't starting with first reading tonight. So
Well, we are, sort of, because my next item is Planning and Zoning Commission for a first reading. For Councilman Fleetwood,
I think we need to have a lot of discussion about that.
So again, a quick background, Planning and Zoning has 5 members. 4 of them are appointed by the city manager, with the 5th being a sitting councilman appointed by the mayor. So at this time, it's just a first reading for Councilmember Fleetwood to sit on P and Z. Does anybody have any questions?
You got to go over there, Mike.
Okay. If you do before the second reading next meeting, let me know. Okay, moving on. Next item on the agenda is Bianca Quinn, Financial Director.
Got 3 ordinances for you. First one is thanks to budget amendments to our current budget. General fund saw additional revenues of $1,065,550. I'd like to change the budget to reflect that. General fund had additional expenses, mostly due to unforeseen costs, some mid-year grant awards, and then also the mid-year police and fire rates. To adjustment for that, $708,100. So our revenue more than our adjustment. Self-insurance fund saw additional revenues for insurance reimbursements. Those are reimbursements from the stop loss carrier that we saw this year. That will help cover the additional $650,000 worth of medical claims that were unforeseen this year. For capital improvement, we had nothing budgeted last budget. So to rectify that, I have some amendments to the revenues. The revenues reflected there are mostly due to grant income, $2,350,000. The expenditures are for the projects listed, $2,431,30. Those cost overages are taken care of by the capital. The last one is for the unused sick fund, an additional $55,000. That is largely due to we had more employment here at the city due to retirement. That is that.
Does anybody have any questions on the budget amendment ordinance? Okay, that'll be bill number 25-049 to follow for a first reading. Next item.
The next ordinance is the appropriation of funds for fiscal year 2026. And I have listed out all the appropriation amounts. Those are reflected in our budget that we submit.
Do you have any questions over that item? Not, that'll be bill number 25-048 to follow for a first reading. And your last item.
Last last ordinance is for payroll. Ordinance to pay the officers and employees of the city of Hannibal for the next fiscal year. Those salaries reflect a %.
Council, any questions over the payroll ordinance?
And to partially pay for that, you withheld mayor's payroll, correct?
That wasn't.
All couple thousand of it.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, if there's no other questions, that'll be bill number 25-050 to follow for a first reading. Thank you, Bianca.
Give Bianca.
Moving right along, the next item on the agenda is resolution number 2555-25. I need a motion to have the clerk read this resolution and call the roll for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Resolution 5555-25, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a $23,000 engineering service agreement between the City of Hannibal and Klinger and Associates for the design and bidding service portions of the Grand Avenue bin wall repair project. Councilman Cohen?
Yes.
Councilman Leaders?
Yes.
Councilman Fleetwood?
Yes.
Councilman Munger?
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft?
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea?
Yes.
Okay, I declare resolution number 2555-25 duly approved and adopted on this day. Next item is bill number 25-048. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
Moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Bill number 25-048, an ordinance approving the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget and appropriating to the various departments, boards, commissions, and agencies of the city government of the City of Hannibal, Missouri for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026, first reading.
Next item on the agenda is bill number 25-049. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Bill
carries.
number 25-049, an ordinance amending the City of Hannibal's fiscal year 2024-2025 budget number 1 by authorizing the increases to the general funds assessment, City Hall, DPW, Executive, Fire, Law, Internal Services, Police and Emergency Management, Department Appropriations, and supplemental appropriations for self-insurance and capital improvement funds as amended, first reading.
All right, and the next item on the agenda is bill number 25-050. I need a motion to have the clerk give this bill a first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Bill number 25-050, an ordinance to pay officers and employees of the City of Hannibal, Missouri for the fiscal year 2025-2026, first reading.
All right. And I think the last item that we have is closed session in accordance with RSMO 610-021, paragraph 1, 2, and 12. I need a motion to go into closed session in accordance with RSMO 610-021. So paragraph 1, 2, and 12, admitting myself, the council, city manager, city attorney, city clerk, Darren Gordon, GM for the Board of Public Works, Matt Munslinger, and John Ortworth.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Roll call.
Councilman Cohen,
Yes.
Councilman Leaders,
Yeah.
Councilman Fleetwood,
Yes.
Councilman Munger,
Yes.
Councilman Haycraft,
Yes.
Councilwoman Azatea.
Yes.
Okay, we're in closed session. Thank you, everyone.